Welcome to another Way of Naruto had twin sister. I am Dark Shadows. Let's get to this with the intro and then we'll go on to what happened last time.
I've got the lightning inside me, son of a god. I'm like a titan that's rising, oh just you watch. I'm stepping into fate, there is no time to waste. I've got that lightning inside me, this is how legends are made. This is how legends are made. This is how legends are made. I'm cranking up on the throttle, victory is mine. Show you the harder the battle, harder I fight. I've come too far to quit. Step back, I'm going in. I'm cranking up on the throttle. This is how legends are made.
Well, now that we got that done, last time we had just left that both Team 10 and Team 7 have come back from the Land of Waves. And they basically, Asuma said he wanted to do a big party at this particular hot spring where it just lets Shinobi. This stuff is like a resort more, really cheap and stuff. Do a nice little party as a basically congratulate his team of completing their first S rank mission and just killing it. That's basically what it was. And he was going on with the story. He just finished up with telling him how they did it. Basically cluing in Kakashi for the first time since the Land Waves that his team had done all the heavy lifting. Well, Kakashi knew Team 10 had done all the heavy lifting, and he was fine with that, as long as Team 7 got all the credit for completing the mission. Well, Team 7 did get the credit. They legal on all the documentation formally and let's say legally in the Leaf Konoha, they will have to be on the assigned to be on there, so they will get the majority of the credit. But the actual credit to who completed the assignment would be going to Team 10 that everyone knows about, because they were just the backup team. That's all. They will never truly, a lot of the documentation, get the credit. So, but this is where Kakashi's going to have run into a problem. Yes, he will get the bragging rights. So, but a little snag that Kakashi did not know about, because Asuma kept this quiet. He did it on purpose so his team could get labeled with some of the credit, because they would have never. They would just been put as if Cliff Note into the mission reports that would get typed up by Death Ninja that they were backup. But because Asuma is being clever and outthinking in Kakashi, and basically is gonna found a way to give Team 10 the ultimate credit, the ultimate bragging rights. So, was who took down their first A rank or B rank. They're not really 100% sure, because Miss has been at Civil War, so that no one had truly gave Zabuza a rank. So, as far as anyone was concerned, he could easily range from an A to S rank missing in. So, his team, until Mist clears up what rank that Zabuza was truly at, Konoha has no choice but to label him as a S rank missing in. And Team 10 is going to get the bragging rights to that. And taking out his partner and basically single-handedly destroying Gato's empire. So, they get the bragging rights. They get the acknowledgement on that. Which will do them good in the future when it comes to actually having missions. Asuma is setting them up so they can have their pick of missions. Even so much so that they will have their pick of missions on C rank. Because technically he can't give them B rank. But he might be able to push the envelope and give them some type of little bit difficult missions to help them grow as a team and get their skills up even further. Because he's been pushing them for their training. There's been more times than not they're all crawling home. Or they just all camp out there on the training field. And Asuma brings them food because they're just that tired. Or Shikamaru's mom brings them food or something. They've been they've been more times or not just couldn't move because the training was that hard. You could say outside of maybe Guy, and Guy's just crazy when it comes to training, Asuma is probably this, you would not have thought it, but the one that takes a lot of the stuff seriously when he's basically a goofy guy like Naruto. He will pull the jokes. He will seem like he's more relaxed. But when it comes down to making sure people come back alive, he will do that. He when he agreed to take on team, the only thing he said was he wanted the two twins. He knew no one else would want them, but he saw potential in them when everyone else was tossing them aside. And he knew because of the family traditions and treaties and friendships and stuff that he should get the Inen Shikacho. Well, he told his dad, I'll take on 5 students. Just give me those 2. I'll take them on. Well, he originally was going to get the Inen Shikacho, but Ino's father, Inoichi, came and talked to Lord Third and said, I need her to be put on Team 8 with Kurenai, who has been known to hate fangirls, along with Anko. They won't go easy on fangirls. If anything, Kurenai will go out of her way to break Ino out of that. So basically, he just gave Ino her worst nightmare of a sensei, just to make sure she comes back alive on the battlefield, fearing that most senseis that see fangirls don't take them seriously, don't really take them seriously. They just toss them aside and don't train them. That's how they don't disregard them. That's why it's became well-known fact among the ninja world that fangirls are basically candy filler. They're used as sacrificial pawns. That's all they're used for. If they do survive for a while, well, they're basically used as unofficial play toys for the male shinobi that doesn't have girlfriends or something. So, That's how it is. That's basically, unless Kakashi can break Sakura from that phase, that is her fate. Her fate is pretty grim. And Inoichi did not want that fate for his daughter. He tried to break it. His wife tried to break it, so they're thinking somebody outside of that could basically break out of that fangirl fit. So that's where they were at. Now we're dealing about they're about, let's say, about 3 months time skip. The third Hokage had liked how they handled themselves with the Cloud Ninja when they delivered the messages, so he basically made them his messenger team to do that. And they have done it back and forth. And, well, they have went on a total of 10 missions doing this because they are trying to work out, apparently trying to get things done for the shooting exams without the team didn't realize this. They just thought they were just delivering messages. So after 5 out of the 10 times, and the fifth, the last time they got into a fight, they literally got into fights with these teams. And the last fight they got was a team of Chunin, led by a Junin. Raikage thought he was being smart, having these Chunin play Ginning. They were high level Chunin, and this team basically Team 10 basically sent that team with their tail between their legs. They literally sent them home with 3 less members than they showed up at the meeting spot. Because this team was aiming to kill, and Team 10 was more than happy to oblige. They didn't want to kill, but you know what? When one literally thought he had Serenity done by the throat, because she's a medical ninja, she has dealt with poisons her whole life. He didn't realize she already administered poison to him. Because her poison is so effective, that he didn't realize that he got cut by her kunai, and she had stuck a few of her special shinbone needles in him that was filled with poison. So when he thought he had her in a awkward part, he literally thought he had her to the point where the team of tree huggers, as he called it, was going to tell him to give up, or else he will kill her. They basically were slowly buying time, and as soon as he dropped the other two that were watching, tried to kill the one Chunin tried to kill Choji. He basically did not hesitate and took out that guy. The Chunin that was fighting Hinata, she basically hit pressure. Did her gentle fist, or her variation off of the gentle fist, that she basically ruptured a few aortas, basically making internal bleeding. So yeah, she basically took out a lot of the stuff. So they started becoming known, building up a reputation with Cloud that they are not to be fucking messed with. And considering the last few fights, they have sent them back home injured, severely injured. That the people weren't sure they would make it back. This time, they literally, out of a team of 5 that met them, or 6, um, they literally demolished them. The team of uh, 5 or 6, well, we'll say 6 because they had a Junin or Chunin that was in hiding, just in case to help aid with an ambush, because Cloud chose this location. And just because they chose the location and everything, they thought they could ambush the team really well, because the last few teams that got into a fight with Team 10 from Cloud got severely outmatched when they thought they weren't. Because none of the team looked like they were the team that really were the badasses. So when a team of 6 literally went to go meet up with a team of 5, and they thought they outmatched and had them outmatched and outgunned, because these were high level tuning that were getting ready to be promoted to be Jonin. And the one Jonin could easily be ranked as a S rank. Well, him and one tuning only went back alive, and they were severely injured. Keep in mind, Osman didn't help out. He was ready to jump in if need be, but no. Team 10 basically cleaned house with them. And basically took the heads, but they said they could take the bodies. They'll melt when they get back home safely. They'll melt back the heads. So after that incident, the Raikage side, he wasn't going to push this team. Quickly realizing the Hokage was sending out just this team to deliver messages, and they have quickly, within the ninja world, earned a reputation of being quite fierce. So they were quickly having that reputation that they were a group not to be messed with. And that was it. And so after that incident, after that, like I said, after that incident, that was the 5th messaging that they did. That after the 5 others, there was no fights. There was none. The teams that were there basically came up with a new rule that they will leave the scrolls right where they are. They will collect their scrolls. Basically, in the middle of the deal, they had a setup where on a rock or wherever, or opposite sides, like a post or something, or a rock, depending where they were at. It was in this case they started basically choosing a populated road next to a town where if a fight broke out, people could easily get hurt. But left Cloud at a disadvantage too because they were in a ravine. If Team 10 decided they wanted to create a rock slide and crush them, they could easily do it. So what they'll do is they made sure that the location was chosen to be a disadvantage for both of them. On one side, the Asuma will leave the messenger scroll where on one post, go back to his team like the other leader on the opposite post. When they got back to his team, then Cloud will grab their, go back, wait a few minutes, then go walk over to the other post that Asuma just dropped off that message, pick that up, and leave. Once Cloud had a good few minutes to clear out of there, then Team 10 could go and collect theirs. And they made sure it wasn't booby trapped or anything. So, coming to this point, excuse me. Cloud has made it official with land of the village hidden within the stones that they didn't want to participate with Leaf in the tutoring exams. So this was the last message saying they felt they were going to do their own exams. Rockage did was a good he did was a good team, potential team of Ganade to basically showing what he thought was tree huggers was maybe setting them to their doom. Because Leaf was supposed to hold it. And the Hokage suggests they choose a neutral location where everyone could go. He originally suggested whirlpools. It was a land that was vacant. So they could easily build up a set the test and then do the actual take time to build up the actual stadium. Or land of iron where there were no team had any form of advantage. Home field advantage with them. And basically the village hidden within the stones said no. The village hidden within the clouds goes no. And the village within the mist was not going to be joining in because they're going through a civil war, so you could basically, they said they're not worried about the tutoring exams at that point. But you had other villages that agreed they were going to go. One of those is because Team 7 has been going around claiming that they were doing the accomplishments instead of Team 10. Team 10 has been holding their own. They had done after the land of Waves mission. They have done about 10, maybe 15 C rank missions, and they've done a couple of B rank. Technically, they were supposed to be C ranks, but they got quickly upgraded for higher, and technically they would have done. They're considered to have done more C ranks because they have done more patrol. But they're considering that more to be D rank than anything because that was more or less sitting around babysitting. And the guards that were there was basically treating the Ghanaian team that was there as basically servants. So they weren't really trusting the team to actually participate in guard duty. So they had to do maintenance, basically clean up sheds, rebuild some stuff when they're there. After the second time that happened, that they were seriously assigned to help learn the guard duty and stuff, and it was different locations. Osma said he will not be accepting those assignments for his team unless the people there treated his team with a little bit more respect. So the third Hokage sent them to a different location that was ran by Amu. Thought that the Amu might treat the young team a little bit nicer. They treated them worse than the other teams to the point that Asuma almost called it quits on that mission. They literally just didn't have them do maintenance work, but they had them do cooking for them and basically order the team Ted to do the laundry and do cooking, do cleaning and stuff, and gave them very little chances to rest. So they were basically almost up 24 hours a day for about 3 days straight, having doing D-rank missions shit. Not the actual mission that they were originally called for. So after that incident, he said, I don't give a shit who has those ones. We're not taking them. That's absolutely crazy that we were assigned to do guard duty and yet we're doing stupid shit. Excuse me. Come to find out, all the Amu that was assigned at that particular guard station all worked underneath Kakashi at one point or the other. Or worked with Kakashi and the Amu, so they didn't like the fact that Team 10 was taking a lot of the glory and making Team 7 look like idiots from the Land of Missions arc, and they didn't believe what Team 10 had given as a mission report, so they were making a pay. That's the reason why they were so horrible to Team 10. Yeah, wrong move on their part. When you have 3 members of the team basically taught in espionage and interrogation, all sorts of yummy, delicious stuff from IT. They quickly, and one of them is a poison mistress. Yeah. Um, they basically got mild poisons all over their apartment that they couldn't pinpoint. She literally broke it, her and the rest of Team 10 broke into the Amu barracks, found those particular Amu members, and she had made this paste. And It had no scent, it had no taste, but it was activated by moisture. They would not know because it will dry up, but it was reactivated by moisture. She painted this particular piece a thin layer into each of their masks. And she had painted it on inside of their Ambu armor and gloves and stuff. In other words, she basically gave the whole Ambu group that was responsible at that. She basically gave this whole Ambu team that worked underneath Kakashi the shits. That was what the poison did. It gave them the shits and a really, really itchy rash. So she basically gave them a laxative and poison oak a little bit more potent. But yeah, that's basically what she did. And for Kakashi, you'd think he might not want to piss her off. But learned not to piss her off, so she did a mild poison before. And his hand went numb. Yeah. They found out where he lived. Yeah, he might have seals and traps and stuff protecting his apartment. All they needed was one way in. They disabled those seals, and they were mediocre at best. And the traps got in. She put a nice fine powder in all his favorite books, especially the orange one. They put a nice powder in his weapons pouch. Sprinkle the same type powdery substance all over his bedding and stuff, which would have given him the shit. So it's the same laxative oat type deal. But they found lotion with a couple of bags of. They found lotion by his bedside. So what he got all over was this mild irritation where he will get itchy everywhere because she also sprinkled it into his boxers and stuff. But just before they left, Shikamaru noticed there was with Naruto, there was a bottle of lotion on the bedside table, full, and a couple of empty bottles of lotion in the trash can, with a bag, with a thing of tissues. So, being the wise person, good man she had, she basically had a lab sealed up into a scroll, and when Hinata kept an eye out for Kakashi, and keep in mind, they all knew about his sensitive, his sensitive nose, they thought ahead. On all his exterior windows, but we'll get to that on the exteriors. But she opened up her lab real fast on the desk, mixed up a concoction where it will cause his hand to numb. He doesn't realize it right away. Cause his hand to numb, and it causes a lovely thing that's nice and hard to go limpy, like a noodle, really fast. That doesn't only thing that affects. he was gonna have crotch irritation for quite a while. It was going to be itchy as hell. It was like basically he added poured hot coffee into his lap over and over and over again. And anywhere else that it was just going to be extremely hot and painful. And trust me, he's going to be screaming blame to on it. And he's going to constantly do that. He's not going to realize it's the lotion that caused it. So she quickly mixes it up. They put the lotion back. They put all the lotion back into the bottle. Clean up everything. And leave. On all the exterior, basically, walls and windows and stuff, Naruto spent time putting, with Shikamaru, putting seals on the whole walls that can't be detected by anyone unless you've been a serially expert. And even then, it'd be hard for them. That releases a scent blocking shit. And it will penetrate even through the mask because it'll be wet. So he just basically got doused what would seem like water, but the water has basically enough. He can't smell shit. The water had an agent in there that made him so he couldn't smell shit. So it numbed everything so much so that he would not be able to smell. So they literally could left a bag of flaming shit in his apartment or manure and staked it up, and he couldn't smell a thing. Everyone else would think it's bad, couldn't smell a thing. Naruto, because the smell the agent would take time to it'd take about a few days for it to go away, and by then their sense would probably be dissipated. But just in case that it did not, on every wall in the apartment, about 3 days in the middle of the night where he should be sleeping, because the liquid agent that was in these ceiling tags that would have hit Kakashi the moment his chakra hit the seal, and it just says chakra signature. He doesn't need to put chakra into anything. Just his chakra signature would hit, and he gets soaked, so it doesn't accidentally go off on anybody but him. That's the brilliance of it. And considering it's Celine's brilliant water, no smell, no water, basically. She's trying to figure out a different, clever name to it. She said it will be 48 hours for the moment hits to the deal. So what Naruto did is they calculated that Kakashi would be back right away, and how they know he'd be back right away is Naruto sent a clone saying they're fucking around with his apartment. They got in. They let him know they got in. They weren't trying to hide it. They did. And here's the funny part. 48 hours after the the numbing agent, so he can't smell shit, dissipates, which had been more than enough for their sense to have gone away or something. Um, 48 hours after that, and again, this is something else that's activated with Kakashi's chakra. So even if he's not in there, it won't activate. But if he's in there for any long periods of times, not 5 minutes, but if he's in there for about 8 hours or something, the seal will pick up, or longer. These seals will pick it up and release a powdery neon green pink shit into the air that smells like really bad sulfur, which has the rotten eggs mixed with manure, with a really bad, the worst smelling sewer and out there, which means they just made his apartment smell like shit. And 3 days later, which will also have the neighbors complain about the smell in his apartment. And Naruto thought, because he's the prank master of the whole Konoha, he's been known to be that, he took pride into becoming the known prankster. He thought it'd be hilarious to set up a seal on all the water faucets that instead of water, fire comes out. And he set up a seal around the area, like the sinks and stuff, the sink bowls and stuff, that they don't burn or anything, so fire will come out. And he thought it'd be a good way to con Kakashi out a good amount of money, because Jiraiya wouldn't be able to get these seals off. It would have to be one of the three to do it. The con Kakashi into giving them a lot of money. So the surrounding area, so basically his whole shower is protected, but fire comes out. He goes to try to get water from the sink. Fire comes out. Water from the bathroom sink. Fire comes out. This is hilarious because another thing that reacts towards Kakashi's chakra signature alone. Anyone else he tries to bring in and say, see what happens? They go and turn on the water. Nothing happens, just this water. But he goes and turns it on. It fire. He has somebody else turn it on, and he steps in. Fire will hit. So yeah, he's fucking screwed. And let's say about a week after that, because a few hours after they left the prank, he rushes back to see what the hell they did. All his seals and traps were all put back into place. He doesn't see anything out of place, and the only thing he can truly say is they did something outside. So he took great pride, thought they were stupid enough that they could not get in, but he was like, okay, they're smart enough to create seals, but in his mind, a monkey could create a seal like they did. Not taking into account that this seal only reacted towards his chakra. He thought, oh, well, they're dumb. How they know it was going to get me that was get away? It could be easily Gemma or Gara or not Gara, but Guy that came across this. Or the random ninja down the way, because he lives in an apartment complex. So That's why he thought it was stupid. He thought, well, yeah, it could easily have been anybody else that did it. Because he thinks this team is dumb, he's mildly impressed they were able to perform a skill that big. But that was just it. He wasn't taking into account their skill level. He thought they were just idiots. So he didn't pay attention. This war had a numbing agent that he could smell. So when he pulls out his fish and eggplant and stuff to start cooking up dinner that night, and he went to go wash dishes, yeah, he had to get new dishes because the seal that Naruto put in the sink protected everything around it but anything that was placed into the sink. So when Kakashi went to go fill up the sink for water to do his dishes for supper, his dishes caught on fire, and luckily it was a good hot fire because he could have had a really bad apartment fire, or almost a bad apartment fire, if he didn't turn off the sink fast enough too. His eyes bulge out in surprise, like, son of a bitch, what? So in their mind, in his mind, that Master Jiraiya is in town, and somehow they con Master Jiraiya into putting a seal on the sink. It's fine. He thinks he's coming down with a cold because he couldn't smell dinner. He'll get that checked out tomorrow. But he goes, ha 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 ha. Okay, you got me on that one, but I'll get Mr. Jiraiya to remove it if he's in town. I'll pay him. He goes, I'll have to pay him, but in the brothel. But yeah, we'll pay for that. And Kakashi is he's underestimating the Team 10's skills. He thinks they're idiots. Why? He looked at their file and saw that the only person that wasn't dead last in her class was Hinata Hyuga. And the only reason why she didn't get Koreiji of the Year was her grades were less than perfect. If it was anyone else during that time, during the written tests and stuff from stuff that Sakura was in, she would have gotten it. But outside of that, that was the case. And Celine didn't want the title, Koreiji of the Year. And Hinata didn't want it. She just kept her high grip part in the class to please her father. But outside of that, she didn't want it. So she didn't make a big deal about it. So outside anybody on Team 10 that could possibly have some skill, he would have thought so. He doesn't even consider Asuma having that great of skill. He literally thinks less of Asuma, and Asuma was the one that got invited by the Daimi to be part of his Guardian 12. It wasn't Kakashi. Kakashi never had that invitation. It was Asuma. So you have to wonder who was truly the more skilled one. Is it Kakashi that got labeled as a genius from a very young age, and progeny of his time? Or what is it truly Asuma and stuff? Because he got a higher place of honor than Kakashi. Even though Kakashi made Junin right at basically 13 years old. Chunin at 6. So you have to wonder who got the better, who's the stronger ninja between the two. So with that said, Kakashi's underestimating Team 10 big time. Outside the fact that for majority of the team, he's looking down at them because of their academy scores. And he's doing the exact same thing with one of the former Guardian 12's members, Asuma. Because he's thinking, well, you know what, I became an Amu Black Ops captain by age 14. Woohoo! He goes, my bounty is 300 million yen. Never once bother to look at Asuma's bounty. Asuma takes the cake. Why, Kakashi is probably 300 mil. Asuma pulls in the 600 mil yen a bounty, and for the most part, he has a run on site order, like the Yandaimi for Hokage that had before him. So he's one of the few out of Leaf that has a run on site order. Kakashi has a kill on site order in the bingo book. So a lot of villagers do not want to deal with Asuma. They will take their chances with Kakashi, but they will not take their chances with Asuma. Which is becoming hilarious because the students are starting to show they have that potential too. And if that does become the case, which there's a good few shinobi in the village that are showing that are saying that there is a pattern, that this will be the first team ever that had a run on site order. So far, they're having a order. If you can run, if you can attack them, kill them, go ahead, do so, but not run. So they're not even shooting yet, and they already have that form of order. Quickly approaching, it's more like a kill on site order if you can, but mostly advised to run if you could type deal, because now it's circulating throughout the Shinobi world. They took out Zabuza. And the last time they were out, they came across Itachi by himself, not with Kisame. Itachi, and Itachi had a hard time to the point he ran. He had to make a quick exit, or else they would have taken him out too. So the rest of the world is quickly realizing they are a team that is not to be messed with. Individually, they're showing signs not to be messed with. So, yeah. The Land of Grass has a run on site orb on that team. They're not going to fuck with them. They're not going to work with it. This village, which a lot of their strong shinobi have been killed, have basically sat there and said they took out one of the 7 swordsmen, and then they turned around, bumped into another one back that happened to be on the way back home after a simple C-rank mission that was causing chaos in their land. They took out. There was another S-rank then. And yeah, they are coming. So Grass has a run on site or miss, even though they're in the midst of the Civil War. Both sides have a run on site order. uh, the land of rain has proceed with caution, but advised to run. The land of stones has a run on site order on them, so the only villages that are basically proceeding cautiously with them is Sound, which is a new village that popped up, and Clouds. They proceed with caution. Kill on sight if can, but run if unable to. So basically, they're on the verge of having their own one on site orders. So a lot of smaller hidden villages, like village hidden within the stars and stuff, are not gonna mess with them. They're gonna take off. So yeah, so the rest of the villages are listing that 2 out of the 5 major villages has a run on site order, and that one minor village, the village hidden in the grass, has a run on site order. They're not gonna mess with them. Grass actually pulled out his thing is gonna wait on the tuning exams if they are participating, which they're assuming they are. They have a run on site. They're not gonna send any of theirs. The village, the Iron Country, which is the samurai, they had to ran a few messenger missions over there to them. Has announced that they like them. Team 10 individually and as a group, they find them highly respectable and a very peaceful team and stuff. So they're actually one of the few teams that was given a pass by the head of the samurai to they have a permanent welcome there. If for whatever reason it's not working out in Leaf or in the Ninja World, they are welcome into their midst. And high rankings is part of their midst. So basically, they were announced to the world that Team 7 individually, not Team 7, but Team 10 individually, has the samurai as allies to begin with. And the Land of Iron has asked if they have to deal with anybody from any hidden villages, specifically from Leaf. They rather deal with these guys. They rather deal with them. They like how the professionalism, and yes, they know how to play the game of politics as better as anyone out there, but they're not out to screw anybody. So they are respected in that. So yeah. Um, so by the time, yeah, you're finding out by this time. It's a couple days after. So you're a little bit that with that information, you can see why Kakashi's underestimated. He's not believing a lot of the stuff that's in there. The kids individually, he's thinking that the ninja world must be getting weaker or something, or they're dealing with a bunch of idiots because based off the fact they pretty much got into the bingo book. All 3 of them, all 5 goodies have ended up in the bingo book. For one reason or another, And they're not even tuning yet. But they don't have barely any information on this group, but yet that Cloud has put them in the bingo book. With Shikamaru Nagara being the shadow of death, Choji being the killer butterfly. Not 100% sure how he got that nickname, but that's how it is. Naruto Uzumaki. Basically got the nickname Yellow Flash 2. And he's not sure how. Oh, no, it's more or less Yellow Lightning. Not Yellow Flash. But that's one of the other nicknames that they refer to him as. Yellow Flash Jr., Yellow Flash 2. So, Hinata Hyuga is in there known as Koha's Deadly Dancer. He's not sure how she got that nickname. He's thinking maybe because she moves so elegantly with the gentle fists that it could be perceived as dancing. Celine Uzumaki is known as the Lady of Death. And so they have, but Stone has had them, basically has pretty much the same nicknames for them all, besides Shikamaru is known as the Grim Reaper. That's, to them, they call him the Grim Reaper. Stone, which is becoming a very popular nickname that Koha likes, with Celine Uzumaki, has been calling her the Angel of Death. And they're liking that. So, yeah. He scoffed at his new bingo book. He's thinking it's stupid. How did these dead last children, these idiots, get in there? He's thinking that Cloud has really gotten weaker. Stone, he has no appreciation for. He's always known they're weak, so he showed him strength from Koha, even at the bare minimum, is that terrifies the village hidden within the stone. They're slightly stronger than Sand, but at least Sand is not showing fear towards them. So Kakashi's getting ready to go and take a shower. He realized he can't take a shower because look at this, fire's coming out of that. He looks at his toilet, fire's in his toilet. You think it's weird. Fire's literally coming out of his toilet. He turns on the sink. He goes to try to turn on the sink in his bathroom. Fire's coming out of the faucet. They're all pretty flames, like a purple flame, and stuff. But it's still fire. So he said, you know what? I will take a shower at Guy's tomorrow. I'm going to bed. Well, Kakashi he loves his book. And he decided to put good use to that lotion. He couldn't wait to use that lotion. That brand new bottle of lotion he got. He's sitting underneath his sheets. Can't figure out why underneath his sheets, why he's starting to itch. But he's itching every so slightly. Not a big deal. He goes, puts some lotion in his hand. Well, you know, you guys. He's getting to the good part of his paradise. So he's reaching down. He's getting ready to do the old Rosy Palm deal. And when he does it, across Konoha at 9 o'clock, it's probably 9 or 10 o'clock at night, across Konoha village, you heard a blood-curdling scream. So much so that guy who's next door with Gimba and a few others come right into Kakashi's apartment. He's bare ass naked to the point he's to the day he is born. He goes right into a shower or a sink, one of those two, and he's getting ready to jump in. Just as he turns on the shower, he screams again, quickly jumps out and turns it off. He forgot for a moment, with the burning flames out of his fucking crotch, that he feels like somebody had just dropped a hot pot of boiling water into his lap. And yeah, oh my god, he's crying, he's burning, it hurts. Without thinking twice, he see Guy standing there. He asks Guy, "Is your apartment open?" Yeah, yeah. He runs out of the apartment, leaving the shower on full of flames. Guy is trying to figure out what the hell happened here. Whoa. I just took a shower not even 20 minutes ago. That didn't happen in my place. Gemma's like, I just ran this faucet. What the fuck is going on in Kakashi's place? That's what they were mentioning. Guy goes to reach over to turn off the faucet. When he does, it's just normal water just pouring out of the faucet, out of the shower. Gemma goes over, sees that, he's like, oh, 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 oh. He goes, I think Yellow Lightning got to him. You have to admit, that's a pretty good prank. That's a pretty damn good prank. And they sat there, they're like, and just as they're laughing at each other and laughing with each other, when Gemma says, "Oh my gosh, that's a pretty damn good ass prank," they're admiring Naruto's handiwork. They quickly realized, because he's a sealing master, he put a seal on everything. Realizing also proof that he got into Kakashi's apartment without setting off a single alarm or trap. And putting everything back without Kakashi realizing there's one there. They remember the puddle outside. Kakashi thought he made a point saying he thought it was a stupid prank. Gemma made a point that he couldn't really smell anything after he got hit with a little of the water. And he goes and talks to the brats. And there was a monkey breath, and Celine gives him the antidote. He drinks it, and 10 minutes later, his nose is back to normal. He can smell. Quickly realizing there's an agent in that water. That wasn't normal water. There was something in that water that created his knock out Kakashi's sense of smell. Oh, my dear. And Gamma goes, I am impressed. Oh my god. Remind me not to piss those through off. And he just said that from Guy's apartment, which is 2 doors down, another blood curdling scream rings through Koha. And across, they're running to go find out. As they're running to go find out, Gimba sees across the apartment's ledge when they realize that Kakashi is coming out of Guy's apartment, still naked as the day he is born, holding on to his crotch, tears rolling down his eyes. You can see that his headband, the head tie, is soaked, which means tears are coming out of that one. And they're big crocodile tears, and they're just flowing. He's just running back and forth. He's like, oh my god, make it stop, please make it stop. And Kakashi goes to his apartment. He's going to go put on clothes. I can't figure out why he's itchy, and there red spots show up all over from his lower half. And Guy is wondering if that's contagious, so he's gonna go clean up his apartment. When Kakashi's crying all the way back into his apartment, as a confused Gimba watches him rush back after just seeing him just basically doing the doggy, the scoot on the cat floor, and somewhat doing that from the front too. Kind of looking at the. And he's right out grabbing his jug, holding it, just big tears. He's right back to his apartment. You see, you're just hearing Kakashi just cry to no end, just cry. And it's probably one of the few times they ever see him without a mask. That's just, yeah. Kakashi comes back out, wearing his normal clothes with a mask, besides this jacket, and he's just running down the steps, doing everything he can not to grab onto his junk. And he's just in tears. Oh, he's in so much tears. And considering he doesn't like medics, he doesn't care for medics, he's not going to the hospital right away. He went down to the local store in tears to go buy a bag of ice. So he's basically sitting on his couch in his boxers. By the time he goes back, putting the bag of ice into like one of those like smaller bags of ice that you put on ice packs, old-fashioned ice packs. Put some ice in there, and he's holding it to his crotch. He's still in tears. It hurts. The ice is soapy. It hurts. He's just, oh my god. Just when he took off to the store to go buy buys the guys to come back. Giba's going, what happened? He goes, I don't know. Kakashi's not going to explain what happened because it's embarrassing. He doesn't want to explain. He's about to jack off when he he's jacking off and his hand, also his crotch is on fire. But his hand's not, so he's not putting the two together. It's the lotion. He should get rid of that Jergens. No, he's not putting that together. He's thinking whatever substance was on the sheets, he rubbed it there. And as Genma is coming out, Kakashi waves them off and he says he'll be fine. Genma and Guy were trying to get him to go to the hospital to get it checked out, thinking that it could be something really bad that just showed up. No. He waves them off, saying, no, I'll be fine. As Genma comes out, Guy says he has to shampoo his carpet now and burn Kakashi's clothes because he's not 100% sure what that is contagious, and now he really needs to clean his apartment. He has no problem helping out Karma in need, but he doesn't want to get sick either. And as they say that, across the way, they're hearing 5 distinct laughs. And these laughs sound childlike, but dark as hell, and they're basically holding themselves up, and they're just laughing to no end. Genma goes, I don't think it's anything contagious. I think it's whatever those brats did. He should never have messed with the yellow lightning of Koha, the angel of death, the shadow of death, the dancer of death, and our very own stinging butterfly. And Guy's quickly catching on to it. Go, And Genma goes, remind me not to piss those 5 off. He goes, what? Why would they be pissed off at Kakashi? He goes, oh, did you hear what happened to him at their last mission at the guard station? That was Amu? Yeah, they were basically treated worse than getting on D-rank missions. They were treated as slaves. They made them wash their underwear and everything else. Oh, and they all were his buddies. Kakashi's buddies. Oh, that is completely unuseful. He goes, if they fucked with Kakashi like this, I hate to see what they did to them. And they're the ones that actually did it. We're not 100% sure he had anything to do with it. We might have a couple Amu just out because they fucked with them. Oh, yeah, that's completely unuseful of them. Yeah, oh. Remind me not to mess with their youthfulness. That is very bad. He goes, again, I'm with you. I don't want to piss them off. So, good night. Yeah. So, no one realized on a lonely bedside table by Kakashi's deal that a little bottle of lotion, probably about 16 ounces, it's probably about half empty now, has a nice little surprise in it. All because Kakashi had to piss off the wrong group. Goes to show him not to piss off somebody that knows different chemical compounds and poisons. She's quite showing her off her ideas. and which makes it even more brilliant because she put the same type of itchy shit, but in powder form, all over his apartment, in his clothes, in his bed, on his pillow, in his brush. So he's brushing it, so he's gonna look like he's scratching his head all the time, like he has fleas or lice or something. Yeah, so he's gonna blame wherever was in his sheets. He doesn't think they got to his sheets. They got to his sheets, man. They got him. What's his face? What he needs to face the facts is that team got him, and they got him good. And oh my god, that was basically a hilarious deal. Uh, Team 10 at their next mission, because there's a lot of people knew that what they did, they just couldn't prove it. There was no way they could prove it. Especially what happened uh, 2 days later. Kakashi sent out one of his messenger hounds to Team 7, saying that they're going to take the next few days off because he's injured in a very sensitive spot, because that wherever combination that Celine had came up in the lotion, and considering he couldn't stop using the lotion, being the pervert that he is, yeah, his little friends down his little playthings friends down there is kind of hurting. So he told them to go do their own individual training, and you'll see him in a couple of days. He's out sick for a week or two, a week, the rest of the week. So they won't be meeting up. He'll let them know next week. So that's how it was. They were out of the village, Team 10, so they did not get to witness their lovely grand finale with Kakashi. But their still grand finale is the seals on the faucets. Considering Kakashi could not leave the apartment because at some point it was starting to hurt just to walk. Around, he basically just sat around his apartment most of the time. And when the water melted, poured into a pot, and he was basically giving himself sponge baths. Because that's what made the itching of the irritation, everything go. So he had to had Guy go out and get him bottles of water and stuff, and jugs. Guy sat there and suggested, why not just ask one of the Uzumaki twins or the Nagara boy to take the seals off. He goes, they're not. Kakashi's response to that, I know these children might seem gifted, they're not that gifted. The art of sealing is just too difficult for them. Did you see their grades back at the academy? Dead last do not have that. Hell, Sasuke has a better chance of learning than they do. What's his response to Guy? Guy kind of rolls his eyes and sat there and doesn't say anything. Because he has paid them for their resistance seals. His whole team has paid for the resistance seals and other stuff, training seals that they have. And his team has improved by leaps and bounds with them on, and they become faster, a whole lot faster when they're off. Team A has done that too. So Team 7 is the only one that doesn't have any of these training seals on, resistant seals, and chakra conserving seals on them. That they are technically considered the dead last of the groups. So he knows a lot of tuning and joning that are getting these seals done. So he just happens to roll his eyes and laugh because the three kids are rolling around in money just by the fact that these sealing arts, they can literally end their ninja career now and be Ganin and still be richer than most of the people in the village. Just of what they do. So he can see a lot of their skill. And the only person that is being fooled is them. And because now, Kurenai is proudful of her students, and he is proudful of theirs. His as well. And has taken it correct that these students were good. And taking account for the taking account that they were good, but they were still dead last for a reason. He's not buying that so much because he knows a lot of clans, which 3 out of 2 were taught by clans. And he did his research. He found them. They basically, 2 of them spent a lot of their times with clans, so kids. So they were taught from a very young age to deceive. And considering these kids, 2 of the kids have a tendency to be pranksters. He was wondering if the Uzumaki twins, along with the Naga, decide to deceive everyone, do this giant deceiving deal of their skills. And now that they're out of the academy, people are getting a glimpse of some of their seals. And their skills and stuff. And considering that Kushina is proud of Team 10, but she says, well, Team A hasn't had a chance to shine like they had. They were put in situations where they could shine. She goes, I'm sure my team can handle it a whole lot better than theirs. They're just the first, so what, they're the first in the bingo book. My team's going to get there and they're going to be higher in the bingo book than they are. But Guy is sticking back. He already knows his team has had many chances like that. Excuse me. Many chances like that to shine, and they've been a few B ranks that escalate to A ranks. 1 or 2. They've been on enough C ranks that quickly escalated to those type of ranks. You're one of those ranks. They've been on a mission where it wasn't 100% sure it should be up to an S rank. So That's why they're saying they're thinking. He's like, he's been thinking, like, my team has just as much chances as they had to shine, if not more, because they were out for a year. And they have never shined. And he goes, they never got to, they shine, but they have never been put in the bingo book. They have never had basically other villagers taking account of their skills and already shown fear of them or weariness of them. He goes, there's other villages that are downright afraid of them. That have told their Jonin to basically give a run on site order. And they're already having more than one nickname. To the point that Konoha took on a nickname. Gave the approval on one nickname. And adopted it for one. He's like, yeah, he's not being fooled by their skills whatsoever. If they're only showing just partial of their skills and they actually have higher skills than most people see them as. He would not be surprised that if they quickly get promoted to Jonin right away. So he goes, at least 3 of them. He knows 3 of them are already up at that level, if not higher. So they hear Kakashi bitch them out like that, disregard their stuff. He's now thinking that as much as he loves his best friend and sees it, that his best friend as they saw his like I said, as they saw his best friend, he he's looking as he walks back to his apartment to his best friend. He's like, he doesn't think his best friend realizes his team is the laughing stock out of Konoha. His team is now considered the dead last, even though if they had to a lot of the other people think if they just put on the seals like some other teams have, they won't be considered the dead last anymore. But they're only dead last because their heads are up their asses. But again, Guy is not so sure. He's lucky that he left the apartment because, like I said, we're going back. Team 10 is out of the village for their grand police does. I know I killed it. Deal. On on there. Piece de resistance. Sorry, there we go. But his I believe the piece of the resistance is making so Kakashi has no water in his apartment because of the seals. And everybody else can touch it, but the more he goes to touch it, it turns on fire. They go to touch it, yeah. Which is hilarious because once the water is out of the seals, it stays water. And he's too stubborn to go and have somebody remove. He's thinking it's Master Jiraiya that put him on, so he just needs to pay Master Jiraiya to get him off. And Master Jiraiya hasn't been in the village for over a year. Actually, 2 years, so there's no way they know. And yeah, but the piece of the resistance. Kakashi sitting on, laying down on his bed with another new pack of ice in his on his crotch. He has used the last of his lotion, and the same burning feeling is happy again. It's not burning his hand, so he's still not. It's only burning the crotch, but his hand hasn't burned, which is kind of a nice little trick. There's the whole you're gonna find out why it didn't work. His hand wasn't burning, but his uh, his yeah, his head, because his head wasn't burning, he wasn't putting the two together. But back to the case now is that bottle's in the trash. He hasn't got a new one. Uh, he's sitting at his laid down on the top of his bed with the ice pack on his crotch to give you an idea. He's kind of snoozing as much as he can. Like he's in excruciating pain. The ice is helping, and washing it off in cold water helps. Not realizing that if he just put baby powder on it, it would have neutralized the whole damn thing. Which was hilarious. That's as simple as that. If he just had baby powder. And or even baking powder or something like that. Or baking soda. With some type of the starchy compounds in there. But he hasn't figured out that's what it is. And yeah. That's when oh, I'm tired. Excuse me. That's when, as he's slightly snoozing, with the excruciating pain, all of a sudden, like, you heard almost like the sound like a balloon popping in the air. But it happened in every room and around him. It wasn't just in a central location, it was like everywhere around, like a surround sound of the balloon popping. And he happened to open his one eye just to see this bright neon pinkish green is pop out all his walls everywhere. And he says, "What?" His mouth. He pops up out of bed, sitting up in bed, shocked as hell what he's witnessing, what he sees. And he's not really sure what to make out of it. And then a few seconds later, a good 2 minutes later, he starts gagging, opening his bedroom window. A horrible smell has come from that. And he's thinking he's going to be safe in the living room. Oh, it's all over the living room. It's all over his house. That horrible, horrible smell. He's thinking he finally got over his cold. And now he has... Oh... And he's opening up all his windows because it's everywhere. And this is 3 o'clock in the morning. Or about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, should I say. And his... The smell comes, and next thing you know, you hear a wave across the apartments. And he's in the middle apartment, so it's gonna be up and down, side to side, gasping for what the hell is that horrible smell. Oh. Kakashi doesn't want to go outside, but he also doesn't know. He hears a lot of the shinobi in the apartment start opening up the windows and gagging. What the fuck is wrong? What the hell is that smell? He knows if he goes outside, even if it's normal clothes, just wearing quickly putting on some pants and shirt and running out, people are gonna quickly realize it's his apartment. He already knows that they're going to quickly realize it, but he's kind of trying to hold off as much as he can of people finding out. Oh my god. They're not happy. This stuff. He's embarrassed. He's not sure what to deal with it. He realizes that, oh shit. But we're going to leave this at now. We're going to find out what happens next. So, probably about, I don't know, sometime today or later. I have no idea. We'll find out.